Hello, sound. Hello. Jonathan Nakamales.
To those who
Our
are.
President of BTA, Mr. Muhammad Ali is here. Please welcome him.
My name is Marcelo Duarte. I am Director of International Relations at ABRAPA, the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association. Brazil is the second largest cotton exporter, and Bangladesh is the second largest cotton importer. We need to get to know ourselves better, develop relationships, because we complement so much each other. I would like to say that it's a big pleasure to be present, to present to you the 2021 Cotton Brazil Harvest Roundtable in Bangladesh. Since we cannot host our dear clients from Bangladesh this year, this harvest season in Brazil, like we normally do, this year's webinar will take you to a virtual tour to Brazilian farms as we talk about the main figures of next crop that we get, that will get to the market from July and August this year. Before our webinar begins, I would like to give you some quick guidance so that we can make the most of our meeting. First, regarding language interpretation, our webinar will be available in English, Portuguese, and Bengali. Please choose your preferred language by clicking at the interpretation button at the lower menu bar on your Zoom screen. Make sure you can choose the original audio on English, Portuguese, or Bengali. Even though you are understanding me right now in English, please choose English if that's your preferred language, because we're going to have some presentations that are going to be in Portuguese. Regarding Q&A, at the end of the webinar, we're going to have a roundtable session. So please send your questions through the Q&A button at the lower end menu of our Zoom screen. If your question remains unanswered, because we will be strict on time, it will be answered by email by our team. This event has been put together by ABRAPA, ANEA, the Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association, and Apex Brazil, the Brazilian Trade Investment Promotion Agency, along with the Embassy of Brazil in Dhaka and the Bangladesh Cotton Association. As this initiative can only be successful with the support of these organizations, I would like to thank our partners. Thank you very much. Tonight's host speakers are going to be our president of ABRAPA, Júlio Gussato, and also Miguel Faust, president of ANEA, the Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association. I would also like to welcome our guests who will be part of our roundtable. Thank you. I would like to nominate each one that are of our guests who are here with us today and will be participating in the roundtable in the end of this session. So thank you, Mr. Muhammad Ayub from the Bangladesh Cotton Association. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Ali Kokun, president of the Bangladesh Textile Mills Association, BTMA. All right, I'd like to also thank Mr. Razib Haider, director of the Bangladesh Textile Mills Association, and also NRA spinning for the West Coast USA, so it's waking up very early today. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Hisam Kankar, director of Delcot in Bangladesh, and also Mr. Mohammed Hezwan Sadat Bobby, head of procurement and supply chain management of Mahmoud Denin. Thank you all for taking part of this event. We look forward to hear your points, questions, and comments towards in our round table session. Cotton Brazil also receives the important support from the Brazilian government through the Embassy of Brazil in Dhaka. And therefore, I would like to give a very warm welcome to our ambassador, João Tabajara, the ambassador to Brazil to Bangladesh. So please, Ambassador, we would like to hear your welcome remarks.
Thank you very much, Marcelo. It was good to see Mr. Ayub, Kondokar, Rezwan Sadat, Bobby, all of you guys. My dear President, Julio Bussato, and to congratulate Miguel Faust for being the new president of the ANEA. And as you can see, my commitment with Brazil and Bangladesh relations are total since the beginning in 2017. And my first recommendation as ambassador in Bangladesh, even in 2017, was to promote Brazilian cotton after having especially talked to my BCA partners, Mr. Ayub and others, that it could be a wonderful start in direct trade and direct economic relations between our countries. Because I realized then that that Bengalis import Brazilian products, and Brazil don't export to Bangladesh. We don't have a policy. We don't promote our products. Bangladesh, I used to point out, that is a neglected market, and it could be one of the most important markets for Brazilian agro-industry, for instance, and other things. And that together we could develop our societies, our economies, we can thrive with direct bilateral trade. Now, after almost 4 years that I'm in Bangladesh, I'm still committed. I still believe in our relations. I know institutions, countries, they work slowly, but they always go ahead. And that's why it's a great pleasure to see that Abrapa is present now in Bangladesh. It values this partnership that is being developed. And I know through my friends in Bangladesh that this is also a dream of the cotton importers in Bangladesh to have more direct contact with Brazil and this partnership. So I'm very proud of all this work that those two important institutions in Brazil and in Bangladesh are now working hand to hand. And I want to tell that the embassy will always be supporting this relationship because we have to improve our relations in not just trade, but other sectors also that I also have been promoting, like football, like cooperation, technical cooperation. We have so much work to do and develop that I believe that in the next decade, our societies will be more integrated and we can dream with higher investment. This is something that is very plausible since, for instance, Bangladesh, it's one of the most important hubs in the world for trade and commerce. So our investors will get to know better Bangladesh and they will start coming. This is what I foresee in the near future. And so I want to thank you very much for inviting me, for making me to participate in this venture that was one of the venture that I really invested when since I arrived in Dhaka, and it's good to see the things developing. So next week I will be back in Dhaka. I miss so much Dhaka and my friends there, and they are also by WhatsApp telling me to come soon, come soon. So I still have much work to do, and I got this last week. The Brazilian Bangladesh Chamber here in Brazil, they are starting a work, and they already have direct trade for many Brazilian products such as corn, maize, soya oil, sugar, raw sugar, and of course cotton. So when I come back to Dhaka, I will be contacting my partners there and say that now we have a good window that can open even more for this direct trade with more advantages for the exporters and the importers, as there will be no intermediaries to raise prices and give difficult quotations for everybody. So I will still be working with this. And now this, till I arrive there, I have a lot of things to do here. I will see today the minister. So I will ask you to excuse me after my speech because I was called by the minister today and I have to prepare this meeting with him. And of course, I will bring them this great news that Bangladesh and Brazil, through cotton, through those associations, are doing the first steps of a real partnership between our countries. And so thank you very much. And I will always be there for Bangladesh and for Brazil in order to build this new partnership that can be very, very benefit for our both countries. Thank you very much for all of you to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. It's amazing your commitment to the relationship between our countries. I'm totally sure the results, these conversations today are a lot due to your hard work to put together the cotton trade parts in both ends. So thank you very much for your support, and we continue appreciating all your efforts and the efforts from the entire embassy. Thank you. Covering 99% of Brazil's cotton production and 100% of the country's total cotton exports, ABRAPA, the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association, is a leading national commodity organization in Brazil, representing Brazilian growers domestically and internationally. I would like to call Mr. Julio Gusato, President of ABRAPA, for his welcome remarks. Please, President Julio.
Obrigado, Marcelo.
Thank you, Marcelo. I'd like to introduce myself. I am an agronomist. I'm a farmer. I grow cotton and president of the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association. I would like to thank our ambassador, João Tabajara de Oliveira Jr., and all the team at the Brazilian Embassy in Dhaka for the support that they have given us. I would like to thank Mr. Muhammad Ali Kokon, the president of Bangladesh Textiles Mills Association, BTMA, Mr. Muhammad Ayub, Bangladesh Cotton Association, BCA, and all the team at Apex Brazil that, along with ABRAPA, is working on this project. I want to congratulate President Miguel for taking on the presidency of ANEA, the Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association. Bangladesh is a very important country to Brazilian cotton. By July, Bangladesh will be the third largest buyer of cotton, importing 16% of all the cotton that we produce in Brazil and that we export in Brazil. From August 2020 to May 2021, Bangladesh has already imported from Brazil 240,000 tons of cotton, which to us is a reason for celebration. Just for comparison's sake, in the 2009-2010 season, that is only one decade ago, Bangladesh imported only 5,000 tons of cotton. That is, we managed in that period of time to increase 4,000% Brazilian cotton exports to Bangladesh. And we want and can do even more. And what do we need to do that? To get to know each other better, we need to establish a business relationship with greater transparency and with greater trust among ourselves. And that's why we are holding this webinar. And in the near future, perhaps we will be able to visit you and you will be able to come visit our farms, better understanding who we are as cotton growers, what we think, and what we do. That's the way to go, so that we can improve our business relationship. I wish you all an excellent meeting. Back to you, Marcelo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. It's time to start the presentations of this webinar, the data, the numbers, and the technical information. So we're going to cover the following topics in today's webinar. First, we're going to discuss the current season numbers, the season that ends in July this year, so the last crop we harvested, and then we're going to finish exporting in July. And we're going to talk a little bit of quality and quality control. Next season forecast, so what the numbers are that we are expecting for the next season. And we're going to have a virtual crop tour. And finally, the roundtable with our guests, panelists for today. Regarding the current season, we pretty much, of course, the season that was the 1920 crop, which represents a 2021 marketing year crop, the one that we are 100% harvested. It was, of course, the harvest finished in September, 100% gened, 100% HVI tested, 97% sold by farmers, and 94% exported. So pretty much the old crop is gone already from Brazil. So what are the numbers of this old crop? At this slide, we can see where the cotton production is located in Brazil. And you can see the graphs of Brazil last season's number. We reached 3 million tons of total cotton land production. That's the highest number ever in Brazil. An increase of 8% in our production compared to last year. The previous year, that was around 2.8 million tons. On the map, you can also see the location of the main ports, with Santos Port being the major, by far, the most important export port in Brazil for cotton. When it comes to shipments and exports, for the current season, 2021 exports will be finished in July, and the numbers are looking like they're going to finish around 2.35 million tons. Also, record all-time record for Brazil for one season. In the current season, Brazil should account for about 23% of the share of the global cotton trade. And our main markets are first China, second Vietnam, and third Bangladesh, with a share of 16% of our total exports. We talk a lot about quantity, but it's also important to emphasize that we have a strong focus on quality as well. Brazil has put in place the SBR HVI program. It's a cotton quality control program. This program has been established in 2007, and this year analyzed 100% of the 14.2 million bales produced in the country. And this HVI analysis have an impressive level of 96% of results reliability in 11 classing labs spread are trustworthy. Now, we have a message from 2 of our classing labs that are waiting to receive the first samples of the 21-22 marketing year crop.
Aqui, neste laboratório, nós somos certificados pelo
Here
SBR.
in this lab, we are certified by SBR, HVR, and monitored by CBRA. Activities will begin in mid-July, and we expect to conclude in February. Our team is prepared, waiting for this moment to begin the next cycle. We expect to analyze 3 million samples. That volume accounts for 100% of the cotton produced in Bahia, which is 20% of Brazilian cotton.
O laboratório Cooper Fibra,
The Cooper Fibra lab is certified through SBR HVR, the CBRA program. 100% of the bales produced at the jeans going through the Cooper Fibra labs are analyzed, monitored, audited. We issue a report ensuring all the processes.
Talking about results, talk about quality results. I would like to share with you a summary of the final results for our current season that is already gone to the market. As I said, it's pretty much everything exported, but the numbers I would like to emphasize, are quite impressive on how much quality of Brazilian cotton has been improving. First of all, when it comes to length, we have two ways to analyze length. When it comes to a percentage of the crop that's above 1.08 or 330 seconds or say 35, 98% of our crop is in that range. But when you look at a longer staple, staple 36 or 1.18, the numbers are even more impressive. We came from in the last 5 seasons from 60% to almost 90% of our crop above this measurement. Regarding micro and air, 99% of our crop was within the range of 3.5 to 4.9. Strength, 98% above 27 GTAGs. And short fiber, which is another point that we have been working very hard, has also been increasing significantly, with now more than 80% of our crop with short fiber index below 10%. Another impressive indicator in the last 5 years. If you want to see the detailed results, please access the website downloads.cottonbrazil.com/quality report. There you'll be able to see more details about the quality of Brazilian cotton comparing season after season. As you can see, not only the reliability of the HPI result can be, but also the overall quality of Brazil has been improving consistently year after year. Now, we are going to talk about the 2021 season, the next season. So, but first, before we talk about next season, I want you to look at this calendar, because this is the calendar that shows the Brazil, our crop calendar. So in the top part of the crop calendar, you can see the old crop. So the old crop that we're finishing exporting, say around June, July this year. So it's been ginned, it's been harvested, ginned, analyzed, and now we are going to start the new crop. And the new crop is from a farming point of view, is a 2021 crop, but from a marketing point of view, is a 21-22 crop that we are just about to start. We are just starting harvesting right now. So now I would like to call a video that was made from by our president, Julio Bussato, talking about the 2021 harvest from a farm in São Paulo state.
Meu nome é Júlio César
My
Busato.
name is Julio Cesar Bussato. I am an agronomist, a farmer, a cotton grower, and the president of the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association, ABRAPA. We are here in the state of São Paulo, kicking off our harvest season, which should last until late September. Planting conditions for this crop were challenging, especially in the states of Bahia and Mato Grosso, but fortunately, farmers have a tremendous planting capability. We are well organized and we were able to get our fields ready. We have reduced the planted area in Brazil by 17% as compared to last year, when farmers were trying to decide what to plant, cotton, corn, or soybeans. The profitability for cotton was quite compromised. At the time, we were planting cotton at a loss. Cotton prices were below production costs. Actually, the final acreage could have been even smaller, but why didn't this happen? Because growers are aware of the need to preserve the markets that we have captured and preserve our teams, people who have been trained to grow cotton, and preserve all investments made in cotton farming.
As I said, I did this video and São Paulo State, where harvest has already started. Now, let's take a look at other states in Brazil, other states and other growers, and what's the status of cotton in their farms. Let's make another trip to Brazil. At this time of the year, Abrapa normally hosts many clients from all over the world to visit our farms, gyms, and labs. Since this year it's not possible, we are going to present to you now Abrapa's Virtual Farm Tour 2021, visiting our farms in a virtual way. So please, let's go on to our farm tour.
Esse ano, a gente teve uma redução de
Our
área
cotton acreage decreased this year because of late rains during planting. That will also push harvesting a little further too when compared to previous years. The crop is looking good, it's well managed, pest-free. We will certainly have a good quality cotton this year. And for next season, most likely we will increase our acreage, going back to the plans we had in 2019, 2020, where acreage was a little larger than this year. Hopefully, rains will come earlier this year and we will have a larger area planted. In our region, most cotton is planted after the soybean crop. This year, the soybean season was delayed because of the late rainy season. As a result, our planting window was limited to a period between late January and late February. At the same time, we invested heavily in fertility and more modern, earlier genetic material to try to offset that delay in planting. We hope to achieve good results as we did last year. We have maintained the same acreage, about 2,000 hectares, and we will be successful this year as in previous crops. Planting in Mato Grosso do Sul starts in December. Harvesting takes place in June, July, and August. And we are now placing our bets on the high quality of this crop, both in terms of cotton type and HVI results. We are going to harvest this field in dry conditions, which helps to improve quality. In Mato Grosso do Sul, we only have a summer cotton, and we had uncommon weather conditions in April with severe rain shortage. With the help of technology and the use of different varieties, we maintain good quality. The Brazilian crops are developing normally with an excellent production and fiber quality. Brazilian cotton production works to have increasingly better fiber, genetic work, management, in order to promote excellent quality, in order to meet the requirements of demanding markets. Any international market today can come to Brazil and you will buy good quality cotton. We have the SPR HVR system that will trace all Brazilian cotton, and you will know what plot, what farm, what grower it came from, allowing the lab to certify that cotton. So whoever is buying that certified cotton will be sure to receive quality products from growers who meet all domestic and international environmental standards, environmental and labor standards. We believe that we can have even better cotton this year than we had last year. We choose varieties based on the results from the previous crop. We talk to other growers to collectively discuss varieties. We discuss cotton characteristics at the gene level. This way, we can decide on varieties that meet growers' needs in terms of quality and yield. According to the laboratory results, we have been able to achieve good results here in our state. We believe we can meet the demands from the local market and also from abroad. The outlook is very good. The crop has been well established from the very beginning, thanks to a good choice of cultivars according to our region and our soil profile. Our expectations in terms of yields are very good. Of course, we had to dodge the boll weevil, and we were expecting a few more millimeters of rain. We hope we will be able to go back to our average area, which is 2,500 hectares. We are part of a group of farmers who want to promote sustainability. We produce based on excellence, and that's what we want, to become the largest world cotton exporter. It's very important to convey to you, whoever is buying cotton on the other side of the globe, that in Brazil, we are planting cotton for a better future. In Brazil, we grow 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 for a better future.
I have to say thanks to our farmers. I mean, really amazing images. Every time I see this, I get impressed. I miss Brazil a lot. Those images and those farms, impressive, right? For those who haven't been there yet, it's really worth a visit. When this is all over, we could certainly organize and host you in our dear country, in our farms. Now, let's talk about the numbers for this season. That, as you could see, we had some weather situations that delayed planting and then made it very difficult for cotton planters in some regions, especially when cotton was planted in a succession after soybeans. And that's the case in 65% of our area. So soybeans was planted late, and it was harvested late, so it was too late for cotton planting. And besides that, there was also price competition with other commodities, and of course, cotton prices was not looking good in April, May last year, when farmers took the decision of what crop to plant. So the result was that we had a reduction in area. So the reduction is about 21%. This according to Abrapa, and about 19% according to Brazil's government. So, but the result is that we're going to have lower production this year as compared last year. The total production should be about 2.36 million tons according to Abrapa. As I said, exports as well. These numbers are in the case of in the next season, Brazil's share of international market will reduce to about 20%. But in the next graph, please, as you can see, Could you move to the next? Yeah. As you can see in the graph below on your right side of the slide, of this slide, the projections of Brazil's Ministry of Agriculture show that our exports can grow up to more than 100% within the next decade, showing a huge potential for the country to continue growing its production and export. As you can see in the graph, the trend line for Brazil's export numbers are still very high. So we're seeing a reduction this year because, as I said, for climate reasons and because of price at the time the farmers took the decision. But I'm totally sure the Ministry of Agriculture of Brazil is right, and we will continue growing. As long as the perspectives are very positive, let's talk about the future. So please bring another video that talk about the future perspectives on the views of our President, Julio Busato.
As lavouras estão muito boas. Eu
The
acho que
crop looks very good. I think we are likely to maintain the same yield that we had last year. Our expectation is that we will go back to the planted area last year, or that we remain very close to that. It will depend on how the market and prices will behave for corn, soybeans, and cotton in the next months. For the long term, we believe that Brazilian cotton has an enormous potential to grow. We will need two things. First, a market to buy that cotton, and number two, the profitability for cotton. And that profitability comes from yield, production costs, and the price of cotton in the international market. But most certainly, in the next few years, Brazil will grow significantly its cotton production. In the past 4 years, we managed to double cotton production in Brazil, and we intend to do that again in a longer period of time.
Thank you, Mr. President. So now we arrived to our final remarks, and I think the most important message of this final remarks is that Brazil is a long-term player in the international market, in the international cotton trade. The 2021 harvest will be smaller than the previous season's crop, but it is still the third largest crop in Brazil's history. The medium to long-term trade is to continue growing in production and exports in our country. Sustainability, I didn't mention much about sustainability, but it's always important to say that it's a very serious issue in Brazil, and 80% of our crop this year will be certified by Brazilian Cotton Responsible Initiative, which is eligible for BCI credits. The focus is on quality. There's a huge focus on quality, as you could see, with the quality control program, the SPR HVI, and that will continue to be a driver of Brazil's cotton production. We have an office in Asia. That's where I am right now, in Singapore, and hopefully as soon as I am allowed, I will be certainly visiting Bangladesh and meeting you personally, and that's really the reason why I'm here, to meet you in person and to build partnerships and build long-term ties between our countries. Because, as I said in the beginning, we are the second largest exporter and Bangladesh is the second largest importer. So we have a lot in common. We have a lot of complementarities. So now it's time to move on to our roundtable. So I would like to bring our guests and our hosts to the roundtable discussion. So again, Thank you, everybody there. So thank you all for being here with us today. So thanks again. Thank you again. I want to nominate you all again, as I did in the beginning of our meeting. And I would like to start with a question that I would like to leave it open and to see which one of our guests would like to take it. What strategies would you recommend for Brazil to increase its market share in Bangladesh? So I would like to leave it. Who would like to take this question, please? Yes, Mr. Ayub.
Thank you, Mr. Marcelo, for your wonderful arrangement. And also, I like to congratulate the newly elected president of Cotton Association Brazil, and also Mr. Julio Busatu, my good friend, the president of RAPA. We are very much fortunate that we have with us our leader, Mr. Muhammad Ali Khokon, the president of Bangladesh Textile Mill Association. Mr. Marcelo, you see, your market is ready in Bangladesh. Now it is your part, how you come to us. And you know that there is no direct banking arrangement with Bangladesh and Brazil. We have to establish the banking relation directly so that and I will request His Excellency, the Ambassador of Brazil, when he will come, please take the initiative to, with the proper authority of the government, to establish the banking relation. And also there may be a good committee to explore the other shortcomings of this business from the Brazilian side and Bangladesh side. And let us hope for a better future of Brazilian cotton in Bangladesh. And now I will request you to invite Mr. Muhammad Ali Khokon, because he is the main stakeholder to say something.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Khokon. I would like to personally thank you very much for being here with us today. It's a huge pleasure. I mean, we know how important BTMA is to the spinning industry in Bangladesh, and it's really an honor for us to have you. We know how the efforts you made to be here, and we are eager to hear your views on how we can improve trade, cotton trade between our countries.
I start my discussion. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yes, Mr. Khokon.
Oh, thank you very much. Marcelino, thank you very much. The Cotton Brazil 2021 Bangladesh webinar, the session. I feel honored to the part of the panelists to discuss regarding this Brazil cotton. You know the Bangladesh case. I am the and all the. I also thanks to all those are the today, including all the panelists and honorable the ambassador and Mr. Julian Caesar Bustano, and President the Abrapa, Brazilian Cotton Association, and Mr. Marcelino, the Director of the International Relations, Abrapa Brazil Cotton, and other panelists, and home and abroad, the connected in our some Bangladeshi. Mr. Hisam Khandokar, one of the largest cotton agent in Bangladesh, in our the BTMA director, Mr. Rajiv Haidar from America, he is connected with us. So just I introduce myself, my company, and I introduce the BTM. Who is the BTMA? You know, the BTMA is the largest primary textile sector in Bangladesh, and they are the number of the 450 spinning mill, including the 11 million spindle and 800 weaving mills and 250 dyeing and finishing mill. Total, our member mills is the 1,500 members. And the textile, the primary sector, we are the vital playing role in our the R&D sector. In Bangladesh, we are the manufacturing from field to fashion, from yarn to the fabrics to dyeing and finishing. You know, the Bangladesh is the totally the ready-made garments. The last years, 2019 and 2020, the total export is the $34 billion. And which is our primary textile is the supporting the $23 billion in our export market. And Bangladesh is the last year the third largest buyer, and the 2018 they're the second largest buyer, the cotton buyer in the world. I think this year we are then again the second position. This year we have the humus consumption, and the last year the US market is the 11.14% is this American market is the very small market. 3 years back, only 4% their market share. And the Indian market is the day by day growing the 26.12% due to the only for they are the organic cotton and PCI. The East and West Africa is the 37.06 and Australia is the 4.65. CIS is 11.35 and rest of the world is the 9.65 total consumption. I think so the Brazilian cotton is the last 2 and 3 years we are using. And the last year I personally imported from the 2,500 metric ton. This year consumption is going up, it is the 4,000 metric ton. So what the problem is the Brazilian cotton, you know, this long time for the shipment times. In the price is not the important. Sometimes at the moment our cotton price is increased 30%, and our LC is the limit. Sometimes the 3-4 hour limit is occupied due to the long time the shipment. The your office is Singapore, is the regional Asia office is Singapore. Why not you the company your in affluent systems or the Kelang port or the Malaysia, or why not in Singapore? Those African market, why the increase in Bangladesh last year, they are grown up from the 6% to the 37%. Their market is in Bangladesh. Their capacity in the Bangladesh, their share percent is 36%. And last 5 years, their growth rate is 100% in African markets due to the affluent. Brazil is the main problem. Mr. Ayub is the explaining our LC is gone through sometime in the Switzerland, sometime America, sometime in England, UK. The third party BL, the LC is to go through from the Brazil to the in US, sometime in the Switzerland, sometime it's the LC from UK to the Brazil, sometime it's America to the Brazil. The bank, due to the bank system, it is take the late time. After we open the LC, it is you shipment type 1 month, sometime 45 days, and after it come back from the 6 to 7 week, it is the shipment time. So it is due to this reason we cannot use the Brazilian cotton. The Brazilian cotton 3-5 years before when we use the Brazilian cotton, that time the quality was not up to the mark, but day by day it is increasing. That time you staple short fiber and the dead fiber percent is very high, and priestly is very weak. Day by day is increasing. At the moment, we are using in the Brazil cotton for the contamination free, for the whitening. We are sometimes mixing with the American cotton and Brazilian cotton. Today I was visit my factory. Just I am in blow room. I check up is there American cotton? No, this is the Brazilian cotton. The color grade is very good. So due to your market is slow and we cannot the consumption your cotton due to the long time your shipment. You know, Bangladesh the last year after the COVID attack, we are the last years we are the very much in the problem. because we need to the very quick shipment after COVID, our lockdown, all the factories, all the mill owner, they need to the very quick shipment. That time we are open all the from India, within 15 days and 20 days, they ship the goods, and within 1 month, the goods is arriving in our premises. If it is the Brazil, it is very tough to arrive in our premises. Due to this reason, the Indian cotton is they reach the market, their market share take their 26%. I suggest the Mr. Marcelo, I suggest you should include the cotton for the organic cotton. You know, at the moment the worldwide demand is this year 35 to 40% demand in the organic cotton in total our consumption. I suggest you go to for the organic cotton. You know, the Bangladesh is this year after the COVID, this year we are export, our RMG sector export is the $28 billion, which is we are supplying on the primary sector, BTM is supplying the $19 billion, all the yarn, fabrics and other goods. So Bangladesh is not only export market, is the large market we have the large market in Bangladesh for the local market. And the local market volume is the $8 billion, is the total consumption of the fabrics, which is supplies locally total our yarn. The Bangladesh, we are leading, the BTM is the leading the part of the textile primary sector, spinning, weaving, and the dyeing finishing. Then day by day, every day, we are increasing our spindle capacity. And this year, our yarn demand is very highly. Our total consumption, we are no spinning mill have any stock. After the COVID, we have milled our stock with the high volume of stock. All have been sold, and we are forwarded sale all the yarn up to the August to some factories, July, some factories August. So we need to the contamination. Brazil cotton is the contamination free. It's okay. Color grade is good, but last 3 years before the cotton is done. At the moment, the Brazil cotton is the good quality, which is you are showing you before you a slideshow. We are showing the your cotton. And we last 2 years before, I have been visiting America. That time American cotton, the price is very high. After we are invited the BTM delegation team, we visited American all the fields and their ginning factory and 6 states with the 6-7 days of the tour. After getting the tour, the American cotton is very quickly shipments with their price in the lower price. And once upon a time, the American cotton and the Brazilian and Australian cotton is the same price. At the moment, Australian price is higher than American cotton. American cotton is now very reasonable price. And it is within 2 years, American is the market share is the 11, but this year the market share will be the 13%. I think so. And Bangladesh this year, after this year, we are closing the 21. We are going to, I think so, we are the largest second country of the buying. We are the cotton importing country this year, I think so. And every year, though, we are spending is increasing. Our local cotton demanding very high, also export demanding high. You know that due to the pandemic and the COVID time is the worldwide the knit cotton and knit fabrics is used in higher than 4 to 5% in higher. The people are staying at home, they're using all the knit fabrics. So the knit fabrics demand in Bangladesh, all the knit factories and our knit garments is the book, so their order is fulfilled. So I have no just suggestion to the Brazilian cotton. We have the quality and the contamination. We have the objection only for the use the banking system and the shipment system is the quickly. I can share with you. We can your share position will be increased, and I think so. The Brazilian Cotton Association and BTM is a good friend. We will continue the good friendship. And if you invited after the COVID, you are also invited to a cotton association, but we cannot visit in Brazil due to the pandemic. It attacked the last year. So I think so. After the pandemic, when the pandemic is not out of the whole over it is overcome, then we can sit together.
একটু স্লো করেন কারণ আপনারা অনুবাদ করতে পারতেছেন না।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা due to the pandemic after we overcome the pandemic, I think so. We'll sit together or visit you, visiting out the country and the BTMA delegation team will visit in Brazil. And I conclude. I would like to thank the organization to arranging the webinar. I thank this kind of the webinar. I will helpful increase to the interaction between the two countries and may the promote future trade. And I am hopeful for the future persuaded between two countries, but we must carefully utilization and potentiality. Thank you very much and I feel honored to including me to the discussion. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Kokon. It was quite challenging to translate your your speech by our. It's very good that we have very good interpreters here, but it's impressing really the size of BTMA, and on behalf of Abrapa, we thank you again for being in this meeting. I'm totally sure this is just the first of a number of meetings and discussions that we're going to have with you, representing this 500
Ô,
countries.
Marcelo, deixa eu... Posso falar, Marcelo? Por
May I,
favor.
Marcelo?
English interpretation here, because Julio will speak in Portuguese.
Ok. Bom, Mr. Kokun, eu prestei
Sir
muita
Kokun,
atenção.
I was paying careful attention to what you were saying.
Eu acho que muitas coisas nós podemos resolver.
I think that there is a lot that we can solve. And I see
Primeira reunião
this first meeting, I'm sure we will have others, as a major opportunity,
porque vocês representam
because you represent
maiores indústrias
one of the largest textile industries in the world, and we as Brazilians are the second largest cotton exporter in the world and the fourth largest producer. And we want and can grow even further. What we need is profitability for our cotton production and a market. And this is what we are looking for with you. Well, the pandemic, to me, will end soon because I've been vaccinated, and you are our guest as soon as you can, with the committee that you want to choose to come to Brazil and visit the farms and see firsthand the ginning of our cotton and the cotton analysis that we perform. All right? That's my message to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Marcelo, can you allow me? I have another meeting, another place. Can you allow me? Just I want to leave.
Of course, Mr. Razib, we'll make sure we
Mr. Razib is representative of BTMA, no problem.
Yeah, you still be represented here in this meeting.
Yes, Razib is representative. I am leaving. Thank you very much, everybody. Isam bhai, assalamu alaikum.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right, thank you. First, Razib, I have to thank you for making this approach, between us, Abrapa and BTMA, and I can't thank you more because I know you are in the West Coast of the US. You woke up 5 o'clock in the morning to be in this webinar with us, and I would really like to hear your perceptions. And please speak slowly because our translator they need to translate because it's all the valuable contributions that I'm totally sure you're going to bring to this table. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is it okay? You are hearing me? Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank for inviting me in this webinar. And from my side, I tried my level best to make it a more graceful. And that's why I suggested Marcelo to include our BTMA president. And actually, this makes the more event, the whole event more graceful and honored. And I would also like to thank our ambassador to Bangladesh, Brazilian ambassador to Bangladesh, to present in this occasion. So, and Marcelo, thanks you a lot for your all-out efforts so far. So I just like to give a short recap because my president Muhammad Ali Khokon had already discussed all the points, but out of the main points, why the Brazilian cotton is getting popular in Bangladesh, because we are using it as a substitute of US cotton. And that's the perception in here in Bangladesh, because for making the white yarn for the white fabric, we need the contamination free fibers, and the Brazilian cotton is definitely one of the best alternative for US cotton in this regard. But the thing is that the consistency in minimizing the trash in case of the Brazilian cotton there is some room of improvement here. In from a spinner perspective, that's one point that I would like to mention. And another one is the strength. The strength wise, I think that there is still some room to development in case of the Brazilian cotton, because the average, if I see in my experience, the average strength of a US cotton and an Brazilian cotton so far, I find the strength of the US cotton is still a bit better than the Brazilian one. So from this point, there is a room of development, as well as the SFI. I will definitely say the short fiber index has been improved substantially, but still there should be some room to develop here, because you know that when the SFI is not in the range, then we cannot get the yield in our productivity. No matter what, the staple length is very good or in average, but if the SFI is high, then it eventually ended up in lower productivity in our rings, and there is some hairiness effect in our final fabric. So these are some technical issues that I don't want to go into more detail. I just, as I get a chance, I would like to just point it out. And secondly, the voyage time is now a very big agenda for us. Previously, it takes 50 to 55 days, if I'm not wrong, 3 or 4 years back. But now the voyage time has come up to 70 to 75 days for the Brazilian cotton. And you know that it is putting us in a more longer financial cycle. And that's constraining our limit in importing the cotton. So that has to be addressed, because you know that as spinners now I'm more comfortable with the float quantities. And that's the main reason why the African cotton quantity is now importing the African growth is improving in Bangladesh. But you could not find a single country in Africa where their capacity of total production is equal to Brazil. But for the float system, we feel comfortable because we give LC 1 month prior to the shipment, and within LC by 1 month we get the cotton from Port Kalang or Jebel Ali or from Singapore, whatever. So I think that should be some workout on that. You need to think and come up with some good ideas to make some intermediate storage somewhere in Jebel Ali or in Colombo or in Singapore, so that we can more look into the float quantities, because then it would be a very good, many more spinners would like to use your cotton that. So I think that's the thing that you can see how to reduce the Bangladesh and Brazil going smoothly. And if it happens, then the spinners want to trade directly with the growers. Maybe I don't know what the situation in your side. So if there is a chance that our spinners can work directly with the growers or directly with the traders in Brazil, then it might give some convenience in the overall trade scenario. So that's some of the points. And I will say, and lastly, the organic one. For us, the quantity of organic cotton requirement from our end buyers is increasing. It has been substantially increased in in the year 2019 and 20, and 2021 they are also projecting like that. And for organic, our main source is India. So that's why you see the Indian growth import figure is 26 to 27%. So I think that I don't know what the plan, and is there any way out to cater the demand of our organic cotton from Brazil. And as I see that as a spinner, I personally import 4 to 5,000 tons of Brazil each year, and I'm a very consistent user of Brazilian cotton. And for this, I'm getting good result in my card and com process. But the thing is that you need to think that that's our perception, that it's a substitute for US cotton. So the parameters have to be improved, and the trash has to be very consistent. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Raziv. Thank you for your comments. I would, Hisam, you raise your hand.
Yeah.
Would you please?
Yes. Well, thank you. I'm humbled in front of this panel. It's so, and I think the president of the BTMA also, I think, more or less covered everything that one could. But since I have been invited, I think I would like to share a few points. I quite like the fact that in your presentation, you put the marketing year as 21-22. I think it's an important point to market, because we are, especially in Bangladesh, we cater to the retail market and the consumer market. And when we see the crop from the grower's point of view as a 2021 instead of a 21-22, as I'm talking about this year, it causes some confusion. So I think looking at what we call the new crop as 21-22, because it's marketed from August 21 to July 22, is a very important step in marketing what we consider to be new crop. Also, I was impressed with your slide, and I go back to, we had actually assisted Abrapa, in fact, 10 years ago. It's been exactly 1 decade, in 2011, when Sergio Di Marco was the president, to do one of the first seminars. And it was hosted in Singapore by Abrapa. They were very kind to invite some mills from Bangladesh. And at the time, I remember the quality of Brazilian cotton was around a middling 1-332, much higher short fiber. So mentioning again what has been mentioned, I think at the time we had a working group where the Bangladeshi spinners brought up the issue of quality and how we are more of a niche market, circular knitting. This quality is reduction of short fiber, higher maturity is important. And I'm very impressed to see at the time the president of Abrapa, Mr. Marco, did say that we are working on it and we promise we shall improve. And it's nice to see that Brazil has kept its promise, and the impressive improvement in the quality that we see last year. I mean, I remember we shipped huge volumes last year of strict middling 1532s from Brazil, which was unheard of 10 years ago. So I'm quite impressed with. I think we're all impressed, and that is why you're seeing these numbers are growing the way they are. Another small issue when we discuss logistics, I agree. Afloat cotton and cotton warehoused in Malaysia, cotton warehoused closer to the region, is an important development, because we are all now subject to just-in-time delivery, shorter lead times. The retail market is very dynamic. I mean, we no longer have retail markets that change every 12 to 24 months. Now they change every 4 months. So that creates a very dynamic situation. So afloat cotton in the region is important. But until we build up to that, which also is something that we can all work towards, I would also look at just more simple logistics. I mean, one point that a lot of our clients say in Bangladesh is when you get a Brazilian shipment for 500 tons, you get invoices and PLs from 25 tons to 100 tons to 200 tons. So these are small issues which create a lot of cost and logistic problems. We understand also in Bangladesh that Sao Paulo is a very big port. When you have pressure from all the commodities, it creates a lot of logistics challenges for you as a shipper, as a shipping nation. But for, as we are discussing here, marketing to Bangladesh, I think looking to consolidate shipments, a 500-ton shipment in one BL, one invoice, is a small but significant step to try to look to solve problems and cater to the client's needs. Another issue, a small issue that we see again in the market is the issuing of something like a FITO. I mean, these are things that we can all look at as a community, how we can, try to ensure that these documentations or these small logistic issues are looked at, because even though the transit is 50 days, a FITO being issued 10 to 15 days later than the industry average does create some problems within the system. So these are, I know we are now a very important panel and we're all discussing very large issues like global qualities or things like that. But also I think there are some smaller issues that can also be looked at in that context. So that is the few
just to supplement,
points.
I really thank Shisham Bhai for putting the part shipment issues, because it's not a small issue. For a spinner, it's actually a very big problem, because if I get a consignment of 500 tons in 3 consignments or 4 consignments, then it's a disaster in our production process, because then in a 500 tons you can make 1 lot of yarn. But when these lots comes in 2 or 3 consignments, then I have set in the production process, which actually resulted in the lower productivity and other difficulties. So this has to be solved. This is something very problematic issues we are facing with the Brazilian consignments now. So thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. I will pass you next, but first I would like to pass on the words to Miguel Faust, because we have Miguel. I would like to hear your comments, Miguel, about these points that were raised here regarding the shipments. I mean, that are breaking down in several, shipments instead of one consignment. So the partial shipment issue. Is there a way we could work together to improve? I've heard this from other, mills in Bangladesh, and I think that's quite a common issue. And also the FITO situation on the FITO, is it getting better than the time for the expedition of the FITO? How do you see that? I think that all relates to, because we are far away, the shipping lines are not going to be faster. They're not going to be, unless we have, storage, as was mentioned, but we could improve our logistics in that sense. So what do you have to tell us about this?
Well, good morning, good evening to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Regarding this logistics and document issues, first of all, I can say that these are issues that happen on a day-to-day basis, and not only to Bangladesh, but in all markets that Brazil is export, and these days the export have increased a lot. So a little bit of the problems that we encounter is because of the high volume that we have been shipping, which has been a record volume this last year. There is room for improvement in all these particular issues, and we will solve these issues on a day-to-day, addressing each one of them with your suppliers, with your banks, and so on. Particularly talking about the FITO, we depend, the reason because the FITO are late is because we depend on the Brazilian Agriculture Ministry. They have to issue these documents. They don't have enough people at the port. They have to issue not only for cotton, but from all the other agricultural products that Brazil export orange juice, coffee, you name it. Brazil is a huge exporter in all commodity, agricultural commodity, and the demand of phytosanitary certificates is very huge. So we've been working with the government, trying to improve, to implement electronic phytosanitary certificate. We have some progress already, but there is still room for improvement. And the partial shipments, this is something that, as we see, this can happen now and then, but in the future, it should reduce to one set of documents per shipment. This is an ongoing concern as well. And we are doing our efforts talking to the shippers, and we hope this is another point that can be improved in the future. And regarding logistics and the transit time, this is a little bit more difficult because it does not depend on just on us. It depends on the carriers. Fortunately, we don't have direct lines from Santos to Chicago. And there is also always a transshipment in the middle of this voyage. So it is something that is going to be solved eventually on the long term. As the trade between the two countries increases, this might help to, at some point, attract the carriers to put a direct line from Brazil to Bangladesh. But that's something that we don't have much control on it. And right now, the transit time has improved because of the pandemic. It's a reaction of all the volume that has been of cargo has been moving from one country to another in the whole world, and the lack of infrastructure not only in Brazil but mainly in all the ports in the world. So the transshipment has increased this particular year. We hope that now things will start to stabilize, and in the medium term, the transit time will go back down to where it was before.
Thank you, Miguel. We just let's continue working on these issues because really seems to be quite of a larger concern for Bangladesh, since the transit time is normally larger. So I think if you have countries with lower transit time, it could be less of an issue. So I definitely that's something we have to work on. Bobby, you want to hear from you. You were instead of in a virtual tour, you were in a real tour to Brazilian farms a few years ago. So you visited farms, gins, you visited laboratories, I think, and that's something that I mean we normally do at Abrapa, except this year and last year because of the pandemic. So what I would like to hear your impressions about this tour. I mean, and about Brazil. What changed for you after you went to Brazil and saw farms, and what changed your perception? And what after you've been to Brazil? And of course, I want to hear your comments on what has been discussed here in the webinar as well. So welcome, Bobby.
Good evening to you all. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, I visited Brazil during 2016. I was really impressed, starting from the farming, the modern farming practice Brazil adopted during that time. Also the ginning. I have been into some amazing ginning plan. Also I've been in few HBI plants as well. That was like up to mark. So I was really impressed seeing from top to bottom all the process of cotton planting to harvesting.
Okay. And do you have any comments on what has been said? Anything to add, Bobby?
Yes, I wanted to say a lot of things, but our honorable BTMA president and our BTMA director and Hisam Bhai has covered everything. But I want to add two more things. Is it possible to have a direct shipment from Santos to Chittagong, so then we can have less transit time? This is my first question. And my second question is, since our funds are blocked for a long time for Brazilian cotton, LCs are blocked for a long time, can we have like long-term financing like USDA GSM 100? These two were my question.
Like what? Could you explain that, please? Like you said long time financing, like what?
Yeah, like suppose USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, they have long-term financing like 1-year credit facilities. So can we have something from Brazil since our funds are blocked for a long time? This was my first question. Second question was whether we can have a feeder vessel from Santos to Chittagong.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I would like to direct this question. Julio, would you like to take these questions, please?
Posso? Olha, eu queria dizer o seguinte.
Well, what I can tell you is the following. A few years back, we had serious shipment problems for Brazilian cotton. Abrapa worked very hard along with ANEA, the Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association. And last year, there was 1 month where we exported 370,000 tons of cotton in a single month. That is, Brazil today has the capability of exporting 4 million tons. So this is not a problem for us. Now, as for direct routes, we are working on it. And we are looking at other ports like the port of Salvador that apparently already shipped 30,000 tons. I know it's little, but it's the beginning. And using the ports in northern Brazil, we're also shipping cotton. The work we are doing right now is to use all our capabilities, all our parts, in order to make it easier to export. Unfortunately, our limitation are the carrier lines. You know that there are only 3 or 4 companies that have that route, and we depend on container and vessel availability. Now, we need to know from you what your biggest pain point is. I think that's the objective of our meeting, so that we can try together to improve it. For instance, there is a choice of placing cotton somewhere in Asia, even in Bangladesh, but there is a cost issue associated to that of unloading the container and the time this cotton will sit there. Perhaps that might become more expensive than looking for long-term financing, perhaps through the Ministry of Agriculture, as Mr. Sadat mentioned. I think that would be difficult because there are no credit lines available for that. But somehow we can try to look into that. As for strength of Brazilian cotton, we conducted an analysis, and we took the USDA analysis and we compared it to the analysis of Brazilian cotton using our laboratory in Brazil. And we discovered that on average, Brazilian cotton is better than US cotton. As far as strength is concerned, Marcelo has that information and he can send it to you. Now, as for SFI, it is really a problem. The short fiber index is a problem that was reported to us 3 years ago when I was visiting the Chinese mills. That's when they raised the problem. We came back to Brazil and we are working on it. We found out that the problem is pretty much related to the variety of the seed that is planted. So some varieties are extremely productive and they are not being planted because they lead to a very high short fiber index. So you may be certain that in the future, we will improve SFI. I think those were the points that were raised. There were other questions that I would like to address as well if we had time.
I don't think we're going to have time, Mr. President. These questions are going to be answered by mail because we have already reached more than their planned time for webinar. So I would like to, before passing on to our president for his final words, I'd like to thank you all for being here. I think this is really the way we can build strong relationships, and strong relationships is what lead to strong commercial and trade ties. We have been making a very good use of these technologies, but we know nothing is better than personal contact. So we really hope forward to be with you in Bangladesh, to bring you to Brazil, to understand more each other, and certainly overcome the challenges that we know that we have in order to build stronger and stronger ties between our countries. So thank you very, very much for everything, for being here. I deeply appreciate each one of you who are in the panel, those who are watching us as well, and look forward to being with you in our next. And of course, between this and the next time we meet, we'll be working hard to overcome the challenges, improve our quality, and certainly be a leader, hopefully. Webinar.
Muito bem, Marcelo.
Very well, Marcelo.
Olha, eu queria encerrar dizendo
I would like to end by saying the following.
Momento que nós estamos elevando mais o nível do algodão.
We are raising the bar of Brazilian cotton,
Com nossos compradores.
and we want to improve the relationship with the buyers. Proof of that is Marcelo, who is now working out of Singapore with our office, because we want to be closer to you. So please, if you have any questions, suggestions, comments, do contact Marcelo. And if needed, we can hold other similar meetings. We can certainly do that. You are extremely important to us Brazilian cotton growers. And as we showed you in our videos, today, Brazil produces quantity of cotton. We are the second largest world exporter. We export 2.3 million tons in this season that we are ending now. We have quality confirmed by our SBR HVR program that checks the labs. We do have traceability. In our Abrapa information system, we know exactly where each bale was produced, who it was produced by, and where it was ginned. And we have sustainable cotton because we have the responsible Brazilian cotton. 80% of Brazilian cotton has that stamp, a responsible Brazilian cotton, which is audited by independent third parties. And 36% of all BCI cotton in the world comes from Brazil. I hope we will be able to meet again personally in the near future. And I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Stay safe and healthy. And to close our webinar, I would like to show you a video, which is the Cotton Brazil Manifesto. Big hug to everyone and hope to see you soon.
In view of so many transformations in the production and consumption processes, Cotton Brazil represents a new step for Brazilian cotton in the global market. After 20 years of constant innovation, research, and investments led by Abrapa, Brazilian Association of Cotton Growers, its members and partners, it's time to offer the textile universe a raw material that constantly seeks to evolve in quality and sustainability. The market prioritizes transparency, and Cotton Brazil fosters Brazilian cotton, emphasizing its support of the environment and its promotion of social and economic development. In our scenario, advanced technology and agricultural management tools add to the dedicated expertise of trained professionals to develop precision, sustainable growing practices. Supported by its calling for hard work and the search for continuous improvement, Brazil remains one of the main agricultural suppliers of food and raw materials in the world. We value productivity. We pride ourselves on being the fourth largest producer, second largest exporter, and the largest supplier of cotton licensed by the Better Cotton Initiative, BCI, in the world. And this journey gives us confidence to evolve and go further. Our field science is aligned with the delivery of a product increasingly in tune with the demands of buyers, spinners, and apparel manufacturers in Brazil and around the world. In Brazilian cotton, one will find proof of origin, traceability, quality, technology, sustainability, and now consistent year-round supply, thanks to a constant increase in productivity. Count on Cotton Brazil. Step by step, we grow for a better future together.
Thank you very much.
Obrigado, até a próxima.